Before tanks thundered across Europe, before gunpowder painted the skies with fire, there was a world where wars were fought in silence, a world where Rome, the most powerful empire mankind had ever seen, marched north, expecting another inevitable conquest, and instead met ghosts in the fog. This is the story of Caledonia, the land Rome could never conquer. At the height of its glory, Rome seemed invincible. Its legions were steel walls of discipline. Its banners cast shadows across 3 continents. Egypt, Judea, Gaul, Hispania, all bent the knee one after another. But then came the north, Caledonia, a mountainous land shrouded in mist, where forests whispered in silence and winds cut like knives. To the Romans, it was just another obstacle, another province waiting to be absorbed. Yet Caledonia was no prize. It was no jewel of trade, no city of gold, no land begging for order. It was a land that resisted not with armies or kings, but with the refusal to kneel. Here Rome, the eternal conqueror, found not victory but a mirror, a reminder that even empires have limits. To understand why Rome failed, we must first understand who awaited them in the mist. The Romans called them Picti, the painted ones. They did not build great cities. They left no marble inscriptions, no chronicles of their kings. Their history was carved not in stone, but in scars and memory. They painted their bodies with blue dye from the woad plant, decorating skin with symbols of spirits, ancestors, gods of war. To the Romans, they were savages. To themselves, they were guardians of the hills, hunters of the forests, children of a land that gave nothing for free. They lived in stone towers called brochs, scattered across high ridges where the wind never rested. They knew every river crossing, every hidden glen, every bog that could swallow a cart whole. Their strength was not numbers nor technology. It was the land itself, and their unshakable conviction: they did not need Rome. A Roman legionnaire, heavy with armor, shield strapped to his arm, marching north. His boots sink into black mud. The cold bites through his iron breastplate. The mist rolls in, swallowing the horizon. The ordered lines of his comrades blur into shadows. The air smells of wet moss, of rotting wood, of decay. Then, silence. Not the silence of peace, but of something watching. The crack of a branch, the whistle of an arrow, a scream. The legionnaire raises his shield, but the attack is already gone. Figures vanish into the trees. Blue-painted faces fade into mist. This was how the Picts fought. Not with pitched battles, but with fear. Every road was a trap, every forest a fortress, every night an ambush waiting to happen. Rome's machine of war, forged on open plains, could not adapt to the shadow war. The more they advanced, the more the land itself tore them apart. The Romans tried again and again. Governor Gnaeus Julius Agricola, father-in-law of the historian Tacitus, led one of the earliest campaigns into Caledonia. He wrote that the tribes were brutal, backward, inevitable to defeat. But the Caledonians answered with a different truth. At the Battle of Mons Graupius in 83 AD, Agricola claimed victory. Tacitus boasts that 10,000 tribesmen fell. But what Rome called victory was only mist, because when the dust cleared, the enemy was gone. No cities to burn, no kings to negotiate with, no thrones to topple. The tribes melted into the hills, their resistance reborn the next morning. Rome could kill, but it could not conquer. Even when forts rose in the heart of Scotland, like the massive fortress at Inchtuthil, designed to hold thousands, they stood empty within years. Archaeologists have found thousands of iron nails buried in its soil, discarded before the Romans fled, so the enemy could not use them. A symbol of ambition turned into silence. But this was not just strategy, this was human. Picture a Roman commander staring into the fog, knowing that his maps are useless, his scouts missing, his men coughing from fever in the endless rain. Picture a picked warrior, crouched in the forest, paint dripping down his skin as he watches foreign invaders stumble, heavy and slow, through a swamp. He clutches his spear. Behind him, his family waits, not for conquest, not for riches, just for survival. Rome fought for glory, for empire, for the eternal city. The Picts fought for something Rome could never offer: home, and perhaps that is why they endured. Rome tried to end it with walls. First came Hadrian's Wall in 122 AD, a colossal barrier of stone stretching 117 kilometers across Britain, not to protect Roman Britain, but to admit that beyond it lay a world Rome could not tame. Then came the Antonine Wall, pushed further north under Antoninus Pius. Turf instead of stone. Short-lived. Abandoned within 20 years. Rome advanced. Rome retreated. Each campaign drained men, gold, morale, and Caledonia remained unconquered. Fina,